Yeah, yeah, it's probably all the fertilizer in your cantaloupe. All right, well, welcome those of you here now, or if you're watching later on. We're doing the public release for Avocado 1.44. I sent around the release notes before this meeting. I hope you all got them. If you didn't, you can reach out. We will send around a follow-up meeting, a follow-up email afterwards. It'll have these notes and it'll also have a link to this video. Um, if you've been with us before, you know the procedure from here. At this stage, we are ready to release Avocado 1.44 to your sandbox, and some of you already have it. From there, it's up to you to do any internal testing, training, configuration that you want. Really, the sandbox is there for you to play with and see how or if you want to use some of these new features. When you're ready, we will push that over to your production environment. You will get emails and notifications when that happens. We've got quite a few features to go through today. I have grouped them together because they fall into a couple of big buckets. And the first bucket we're going to look at are financial assistance changes. So again, I grouped these together, but we've got a trio of changes all aimed at making the accepting and review of financial assistance applications a little bit simpler. So the first one is simple but helpful. We've added a couple of filters when you're selecting the adjustments that you're going to apply. So in financial assistance, your user has gone onto the portal, they filled out a financial assistance application. You or your staff are now sitting in the Avocado menu, looking at that application. When it comes time to give the assistance, you see a pop-up. Now, if you only use one or two types of financial assistance, no problems here. But if you use dozens or maybe hundreds, it was a tough list to navigate. So for that reason, we've added a search bar at the top, and all of those column headers, description, income range, amount, those are all now clickable and sortable. Another small change, and you'll see more to come in this regard. We've added two additional statuses when you're assigning a status to an application. So you'll now see does not qualify and needs additional information. And this one is a big change for some of you. We've added an additional setting to your locations. It's actually a pair of settings, and those settings determine whether those locations show up during financial assistance applications. So on the portal, when you're going to submit a financial assistance application, you see a drop down of all of the locations. Right now, that just shows all of your locations. But now, if you only want financial assistance to apply to some, but not all of those locations, you can remove those from this pick list. That goes for the portal and as well for the Avocado menu. The next big bucket, and I think this one takes up 3 slides, is facility booking. Now, you've seen a lot of sort of incremental, iterative changes to facility booking over the last 3 releases, and that continues today. So first up, we've got some small tweaks to calendars. The calendars are now separated by facility, hopefully making it a little bit easier to see multiple events at different facilities at the same time. Calendars now display a little bit more info in the preview when you're looking at the calendar. And this is true for both the booking interface and the printing interface. We've also added more event detail. So we've updated the user interface. That's what UI stands for. We've updated the user interface just to make it a little easier to see and navigate. And you'll see 3 additional fields: facility, account name, and event name. So all aimed at making managing your bookings a little bit simpler when in the calendar view. The next step is a big change, and this is something that I'd encourage you to start to think about, play with in your sandbox, and see if it's something you can use. So we've introduced this new idea of a contract in facility booking, and I'll show you where to find that in a second. But big picture, the goal of a contract is to make it easier to categorize and track large recurring facility bookings with lots of external partners and sports partners. And really, it's just giving you a new tool for categorizing and tracking these bookings. So in the booking modal, you'll now see a new area for the contract. I've highlighted that in orange for you. And a contract is a pretty simple thing, and this is why I encourage you to play with it, This will really allow you to organize your facility booking management in a whole new way. So if you group bookings together on a common contract, you can give the contract a name, a start date, and an end date, and you can even add extra details and categories. Now, you don't have to use this. This doesn't change the way that you're using facility booking now, but it does give you a new tool, a new record that can group together multiple facility bookings that aren't necessarily recurring bookings. So we do have the concept of a recurring booking, and we've actually got some good changes coming for that as well. But this is a way to indicate that multiple bookings are related without them necessarily being a recurring booking. A while back, we added the concept of additional fees to facility booking. The original use case there were fees that are added after the fact, after the booking is completed. I know for some of you who offer residences, this gets used for things like hydro fees or damage fees. For many of you who do various bookings, this might be cleanup fees or fees that are added after the fact. Many of you have pointed out that additional fees are really helpful, and it'd be even more helpful if you could add them at any time through the booking process. So now you can. Previously, these were only applicable to complete bookings, but now you can add additional fees anytime. Just a note, the additional fee has to have a date when it gets added to the order, and so the due date for additional fees will be set to the same date as the facility booking itself. So if you're already using additional fees and they are already configured, you don't have to make any changes to make use of this functionality. In the last release, we introduced this concept of a note, and I think I called it a super note. So on facility bookings, you can now leave notes, notes for the cleanup crew, the setup crew, or whatever you need. But they're more than just notes. They actually block time in the calendar. So some of you are already using these to block off setup time or block off cleanup time to prevent the facility from being double booked. Those of you who are using this pointed out that it would be very helpful if these also applied to recurring bookings, and now they will. So now with recurring bookings come recurring notes. Oh, and if you haven't seen it, if you haven't checked out facility booking since your last update, this is the interface for the notes. It allows you to add an unlimited amount of notes. You can set them up before the booking or after the booking. And that little check mark you see off to the left, that indicates whether it's going to block that calendar. So block that facility from being booked during the time of the note. Last one on facility booking, and those of you who know me know that it will really bother me that we finished on a half-empty slide here. I tried so hard to make these fit. But this is the last facility booking one. This applies to recurring bookings as well. And now we've given you the ability to selectively modify individual bookings that are part of a recurring series. So previously, if you had a recurring booking, you could only modify the entire recurring set. Now you can pick out individual bookings within that recurring sequence and modify those independently. Okay, next up, we have a rather big change actually to the API surrounding the membership registration flow. Now, if you know what API is, you know there's not much for me to show you here. But if you do want more information about the way that we've updated the membership flow API, get in touch and we'll send you some documentation. That's been done as part of our work with YMCA's move utilizing OpenY. Next up, in the programs and camps menu, we've added some sortability and control to the list of instances that returns. So I know this is there's a lot of info on the screen, but that's the screen we're talking about. When you've searched for a program and you've hit select, all of your instances are listed below. And if you look really closely, you'll notice that name, barcode, location, facility, session, all of these are now clickable so you can sort. That will be very useful for those of you who have single programs with many, many, many instances. So this is the page where you select, pull reports, or look at your registrations. And yeah, that'll work for any program that you're loading through this interface. Next up, I know some of you collect insurance information as part of your contact record. For those of you who do, you'll now see that there is an insurance company pick list or a drop down. The Salesforce word for a drop down is a pick list. So previously you had a field, and you still do, that says insurance company name, and your staff could type in what they like. But if you want to control the values that are acceptable here, you can use this new insurance company pick list to set those values. We can go, there's more detail online and in the release notes, but this uses the native Salesforce pick list function. So it's very easy for you to head into your setup and customize that list. But if you need help with that, by all means ask, and we'll point you in the right direction. Oh, I should point out that more broadly, this does come with the ability to add custom pick lists to your contact object. And if that's something you're interested in doing, get in touch. We are looking to build that out a little bit further down the road. Next up, on the Avocado portal, we have added a feature to display the barcode to members. So we've been doing a lot of things around getting the barcode to members quicker and easier and without human intervention. So we have emails that can send the barcode out to a program registrant to let them scan into the facility a little bit easier. And now we're building on that by adding an area right on the portal that will show the member their barcode. And so we hope that this will make it even easier for users to swipe in. Now, I know that some of you are involved with our work on the Avocado packaged app. And for those of you who do use that app wrapper, this will add a button on the sidebar to take the user to the barcode itself. That exists in a little card format, and that is what that looks like. That does it for our features. Now, I will point out there are a large number of fixes in Avocado 1.44. I don't go into those and detail those here, but they are all there in the release notes. And my usual disclaimer before I get into what's in development, which is that development is very hard. It happens in stages. It's unpredictable at times, and again, it's really hard. So with all of that said, here are some of the things that we are currently working on. The first up are big bugs. We decided to take Avocado 1.45 and try to focus it on not so much on giving you new features, but on bugs and things that were keeping you from operating as smoothly as you wanted. A lot of the big bugs, though, we tend to take care of as they come up. So we also have some medium bugs and some little bugs, and just more bugs. In fact, the release notes for Avocado 1.45, when they come out, will probably have the largest number of items to date because we are taking care of so many of these items for you. I think a lot of you will be very happy. That isn't to say it is totally without features, though. We are working on a couple of important features for you. One of them is the addition of promo codes. I just saw a demo of this today. It's looking fantastic. That utilizes the existing adjustment functionality. So I think a lot of you will really like that. That works on both the portal and the menu. And then we are also this quarter working on prompts during the membership purchase on the portal. So something on the more distant horizon. That's everything I've got for you today. Again, if you have any questions about anything you saw, feel free to reach out to me directly or reach out to your account manager. If there's something that we're not covering in these presentations that you do want to hear, let us know that as well. We're happy to change this and let it evolve to suit you over time. But until then, we will see you next month.